All right, you ready to go deep on this one? We're talking mastery today.
Let's do it.
We've got some great stuff from Robert Greene.
Oh, yeah.
Interviews, excerpts from Mastery. Got to touch on the 48 Laws of Power, too, a bit.
Right, how could you not?
And then some really cool historical examples, too.
I love those.
So we've got all that, but, everybody always talks about this 10,000 hours, right?
Oh, yeah.
But we want to get a little bit deeper than that.
For sure. 10,000 hours of what? Right.
Exactly. So we're going to really try to break down what makes a master. Like, what are the steps? What are some things you might not expect?
Yeah, yeah.
So to help us do that, we've got, you.
Well, thank you.
Our expert.
Appreciate it.
Who's amazing at seeing, patterns and pulling out the importance and stuff.
I try.
So when you were going through all this, what really stuck out to you?
I think what really hit me was how Greene talks about mastery as a process.
Okay.
It's not some end point.
Right.
It's not like you just, achieve mastery and then you're done. It's this ongoing thing.
Right. It's not a trophy.
Exactly. It's a journey, like you're constantly learning and evolving.
That's such a good point, because it's so easy to get caught up in, the idea of being a master.
Oh, for sure.
I want to be a master.
Yeah.
But you never really hear about the process.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny because, Greene himself talks about how it took him 15 years to kind of find his voice as a writer.
Wow.
15 years. So what were some of the big things he learned during that time, based on what we've got here?
Well, one thing that really stands out is his dedication to, immersing himself in his subject matter. He was obsessed. When he was researching history, power dynamics, all that, he didn't just read about it. He, lived it. Years of research, taking notes, analyzing these historical figures. It's intense.
So it wasn't just time, it was focused time.
Exactly. And I think that ties into another point he makes about finding your quote-unquote inner force.
Okay,
the thing that really drives you.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of I don't know, mystical, right?
Yeah.
How do you even define that, let alone figure out what yours is?
Yeah, it's kind of this internal compass, points you towards the things that really resonate with you. Deep down.
Okay, but how do you actually find that? I don't want people to think they gotta meditate on a mountaintop or something.
No, not at all. Greene actually has some pretty practical advice. Pay attention to the things you get lost in. Those moments where time just disappears.
Right.
That's often a sign you're tapping into something deeper.
Okay, so it's not just about sitting there and thinking about what you love. It's about actually doing stuff, experimenting.
Exactly.
Seeing what grabs you.
Try new things, explore. And that's where this idea of apprenticeships comes in, which Greene talks a lot about.
Right, your 20s should be more about learning than earning.
Exactly. Less about chasing a big paycheck, more about getting diverse experiences.
Okay. That sounds great,
yeah.
But not everybody can just jump from job to job. Bills got to get paid, right?
For sure. And I think Greene acknowledges that.
Okay.
But the main point is about looking at every experience as a chance to learn.
Yeah.
Even if it's not your dream job. What skills are you picking up that you could use later on? What connections are you making?
I love that reframing. So even if you're not in the perfect job, you're still building something.
Exactly.
It makes me think of that example Greene gives about Paul Graham.
Oh, yeah.
The Y Combinator guy. He didn't find his thing, tech entrepreneurship, until he was 31.
Right. But all those earlier experiences, even the ones that felt like failures, were actually crucial to his later success.
So it's almost like you're collecting these dots that might not connect until later.
That's a great way to put it.
And maybe that's part of what the apprenticeship phase is all about, right?
Yeah.
It's not just learning specific skills. It's about gathering those dots.
Right. You don't always know what's going to be useful later.
Exactly. And I think that leads us to another really important part of mastery that Greene talks about.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what?
What's that?
I think we should probably give everybody a minute to process all of this.
Good idea. We've covered a lot.
Okay, so we talk about mastery as a process, that inner force, apprenticeships, all that. So what else is there?
Well, one thing Greene really stresses is the importance of social intelligence.
Okay.
He actually says it's 20% of the game.
Wow, 20%. That's a lot. But I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Even if you're super talented, if you can't, communicate, work with other people,
build relationships,
navigate those power dynamics, it's going to hold you back.
Exactly. You could be the most brilliant person in the room,
right?
But if you rub everyone the wrong way, you're not going to get very far.
He actually uses the example of, was it Nikola Tesla?
Yeah, Nikola Tesla. A brilliant inventor, but notoriously difficult to work with.
Right. So it's almost like a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
Talent alone isn't enough.
It's not a guarantee of success.
Which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But the good news is Greene doesn't just leave us hanging. He gives us some tools, right?
Oh, absolutely. He talks about things like paying attention to body language, understanding people's motivations, really trying to see things from their perspective, even recognizing when someone might be trying to manipulate you.
So it's like emotional intelligence, but for mastery.
Exactly. And this is where his work on the 48 Laws of Power comes in.
Right, right. Like, how do some of those laws connect to this idea of mastery?
Well, one that stands out is Law 1, never outshine the master.
Mm.
Greene illustrates this with the story of Louis XIV and his finance minister, Nicolas Fouquet.
Oh, yeah.
Fouquet basically made the mistake of, trying to upstage the king.
Oh.
He threw these lavish parties, showed off his wealth,
Not a good move. Not with the Sun King.
Nope. And it backfired spectacularly. So Fouquet ended up imprisoned for corruption.
Wow.
Which a lot of people believe was just a way for Louis XIV to get rid of a threat.
So the reminder that even when you're on the rise, got to be aware of, the power dynamics.
Oh, yeah.
It's not enough to be good. Got to be smart about it.
Right, you have to play the game.
Okay, what about other laws? Any others come to mind?
Well, there's Law 7, get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit.
Ooh, that sounds a little,
Shady.
Yeah, maybe.
I know, it sounds Machiavellian. But Greene's point is not about being lazy or exploitive.
Okay.
It's about understanding your strengths and focusing on the things you're best at.
Delegation.
Exactly. He uses the example of Thomas Edison.
Oh, right.
He was a master at delegating tasks to his team, which freed him up to focus on the big picture stuff.
So it's not about taking credit. It's about, strategic delegation.
Exactly. Knowing where your energy is best spent.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Now, there's one law I'm kind of hesitant to even bring up.
Oh, which one?
Law 33.
Discover each man's thumbscrew.
Yeah. Finding and using people's weaknesses feels ethically iffy, to say the least.
It's definitely a tough one. But I think Greene's point is that everyone has vulnerabilities.
Okay.
And understanding those vulnerabilities, it's part of understanding human nature.
So it's not about being malicious. It's about, figuring out what makes people tick.
Exactly. Their motivations, their fears, their desires.
Greene uses the example of Cardinal Richelieu.
Oh, yeah.
He was like a master manipulator, played on Louis XIII's insecurities.
Right.
But even so, it still feels a bit, I don't know, wrong.
Yeah, I get it. But I think Greene would say it's about using this knowledge ethically.
Okay.
The goal isn't to exploit people, it's to understand them better, to build stronger relationships.
I mean, that makes sense, but it's definitely something to think about.
For sure.
Especially for our listeners who are trying to, apply these ideas in their own lives.
Right.
Okay, so we've got social intelligence, power dynamics, even some ethically questionable strategies. But what about creativity?
Oh, that's a great question. Greene actually talks a lot about that. He says true mastery goes beyond just technical skill. It's about pushing boundaries, innovating, creating something new.
So how do you do that? How do you unlock that creative potential?
Well, he talks about developing what he calls the creative mind.
Okay.
It's about being more flexible, more imaginative. He suggests 3 key steps. 1, commit to a creative project that really excites you.
Okay.
2, see it through to completion.
All right.
And 3, persist through any emotional obstacles that come up.
So it's that commitment, persistence,
Right.
pushes through challenges. We keep hearing that from Greene.
It's a common thread. He compares it to the tension in a bow when it's pulled back.
Okay.
That tension is what allows the arrow to fly.
I like that.
It's a good analogy, right?
Yeah. So we've got the mindset piece, but what about the actual process of being creative?
Well, Greene outlines 3 stages in the journey to mastery:
Okay.
foundational training, creative independence, and then finally reaching mastery itself.
Let's break those down. What's foundational training?
It's all about building that solid base of knowledge and skills.
So the apprenticeship phase we talked about.
Exactly. But even more focused, learning the rules of your field, developing those key abilities, seeking feedback to see how you're doing.
And finding a mentor, right?
Absolutely. Greene says that's crucial during this stage.
Yeah, having someone who's been there, done that can make such a difference.
It can save you so much time and heartache.
For sure.
And Greene actually gives some tips on how to attract a mentor.
Like what?
Be eager to learn, take initiative, and show a genuine interest in their work.
Show them you're worth their time.
Exactly. Okay, so once you've got that solid foundation, it's time to move into the second stage, creative independence.
Ooh, this is where it gets exciting.
It's about taking those skills and knowledge and using them to create something new.
Your own thing.
Exactly, finding your own voice. And Greene emphasizes the importance of not being too rigid here.
Okay.
You've learned the rules, now it's time to bend them and make something truly unique.
That's where that creative mind really comes in.
Absolutely. And remember those 3 strategies for cultivating that creative mind.
Commit to a project, see it through, push through the tough stuff.
Exactly. Those are super important in this stage.
Because I imagine there's a lot of self-doubt, criticism, fear of failure.
Oh, for sure. But Greene says those challenges are part of the process.
Right.
It's about learning to embrace the discomfort and push through it.
Wait, isn't that the same thing you said about persistence earlier?
You're right. It's all connected. Persistence, creativity, mastery.
It all ties together.
Yeah.
So if you've gone through those first 2 stages, foundational training and creative independence, then you're ready for the final stage. Mastery. What does that actually look like?
Greene described it as a state where your intuition and your rational mind are fully integrated. You have such a deep understanding of your craft that you don't have to think consciously about every step. It just flows.
It's like that flow state athletes talk about.
Exactly. And Greene says this isn't limited to, like, artistic pursuits. You can achieve this in any field, science, technology, business, whatever.
So what's the secret to getting there, to reaching that state of mastery?
Well, there's no magic formula.
Right.
But Greene points to a few things. Relentless practice, deep understanding of your craft, willingness to experiment and learn from your mistakes, and, of course, passion.
It's not just about talent, it's about dedication, persistence, and loving what you do.
Exactly. And you know what? That brings us back to social intelligence.
Wait, didn't we already talk about that?
We did, but it's so important it's worth revisiting. Mead says even the smartest people can be held back by bad social skills.
Because mastery isn't just about personal achievement, it's about making a difference.
Right. And that often means working with others.
So you need those skills like empathy, listening, reading people.
Exactly. Greene even talks about how to spot manipulators and toxic people.
Because not everyone is going to be supportive on your journey.
Unfortunately, no. But Greene's insights can help you navigate those tricky situations.
He's giving us a roadmap, not just for mastering our craft, but for mastering life.
I like that. A roadmap for life.
This has been such a great conversation. We've covered so much.
We have, from inner force to apprenticeships, social intelligence, creativity, power dynamics.
But there's one more thing we need to talk about.
How these principles actually play out in the real world.
Exactly. In part 3, we're going to dive into some amazing historical examples.
Oh yeah, I love these stories.
Get ready for some epic tales of ambition, strategy, and the pursuit of greatness. Okay, let's hear some of those stories then. Those epic tales of master.
All right, well, how about we kick things off with ancient China? Sun Tzu.
Oh yeah, the art of war.
Exactly. Greene uses him as like the prime example of mastering strategy.
That book is still so relevant today. It's crazy.
It really is. And not just for military stuff, but business, even just life in general.
Right. So, what was it about Sun Tzu that made him such a master strategist?
Well, one of his biggest things was knowing yourself and your enemy. Like really understanding your own strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
But also your opponents. So you can kind of predict their moves and get ahead of them.
It's like that chess thing we were talking about. Got to think a few steps ahead.
Exactly. And Sun Tzu also talked about choosing your battles. Don't waste energy on pointless conflicts. Focus on what's important.
Kind of like Greene's Law 36.
Disdain things you cannot have.
Yeah, sometimes the smartest move is to just ignore the distractions.
Right. Sun Tzu said the real mastery is winning without even fighting.
Interesting. How do you do that?
Deception, psychological warfare, using your enemy's strengths against them.
So it's not about brute force. It's about, like, outsmarting your opponent.
Exactly. It's about strategy and timing and really understanding the situation.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, for a completely different example, let's jump ahead to the Renaissance.
Okay.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he was incredible.
Greene talks about da Vinci's mastery coming from his curiosity and his willingness to learn all sorts of different things.
The ultimate Renaissance man. Painting, sculpture, invention, science. He did it all.
He really was. And the thing is, he didn't see those as separate fields.
Right.
He thought they were all connected, that learning one thing would help him in another.
I mean, you see it in his notebooks, anatomy, botany, engineering.
Yeah, he was constantly observing, experimenting, trying to understand how the world worked.
And that's what made him such a good artist, too, right?
Exactly. Greene says that his scientific knowledge actually made his art better.
Like more realistic, more detailed.
Right. And I went the other way, too. Like his artistic eye helped him in his scientific studies. He was looking for patterns, beauty, in everything.
So it's like this feedback loop.
Yeah.
Each thing he learned made him better at the other things.
Exactly. And he never stopped learning.
Right. Always pushing himself to learn more, try new things.
Which is so important. Mastery is a journey, not a destination.
Okay, now for another example.
All right.
How about from the world of politics?
Okay. Well, Greene talks a lot about Queen Elizabeth I.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, she was a powerful ruler.
She reigned for over 40 years.
And that was a crazy time, right? Lots of turmoil.
Exactly. Threats from other countries, religious conflicts, even people trying to kill her.
And she handled it all.
She did. Greene says it's because she really understood power dynamics.
So how did she do it? How did she manage all that?
Well, she was really good at image management.
Okay.
She projected this image of strength and wisdom, which made people trust her and kind of scared her enemies.
So it's not just about actual power, it's about how you're perceived.
Right, the narrative, the optics. She was also great at building relationships, making alliances. She knew she needed people on her side.
Makes sense. You can't do everything alone.
Nope. And she was patient. She knew when to wait for the right moment to act.
Timing is everything.
It really is. Like Greene says, never seemed to be in a hurry.
I like that.
Yeah.
So we've seen these principles of mastery and action in all these different fields. It's pretty amazing how it all connects.
It is. And it shows that no matter what you're trying to master, there are some things that are always important, like dedication, persistence.
A deep understanding of your craft.
Right. Being willing to learn and adapt. And, of course, that social intelligence.
And most importantly, I think, passion. You gotta love what you do.
Oh, absolutely. Without passion, it's all just, I don't know, pointless.
This has been such a great deep dive into mastery. I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too. It's been a great discussion.
And, I hope our listeners feel the same way, that they're inspired to go out there and master their own craft, their own field, their own life.
That's the goal.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving for greatness.